Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at XRP. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have our higher time frame video up above, so check that out if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, before we get into those minor counts, we're going to go over the two bullish ways that we can potentially look to count this move, and then we're going to go over that idea of that more bearish situation where we could see some more downside looking to come in here. So within the two bullish counts, the way I'm looking at this is that potentially what we could have is that this move here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into this point as a potential wave 1 or an A wave. Now, we have actually come up to this 1-to-1, so we need to be careful of the idea that this is just corrective. However, if this is actually a 1-2 here, what we could then be looking for is the potential that this could in fact be another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now what we'd want to see here is a move up towards this $1.43 to confirm this move. So we're going to come in and we're going to discuss what we would be looking for internally here and what would be the invalidation. Okay, so looking at the idea that what we could have here is a 1 and a 2, what we'd be looking for is the potential of seeing something along these lines where this actually is our wave 1. We're looking at this as a potential W and X, and then A, B, and C as a Y wave. Now we have come down towards this 1-to-1 level, and we have started to see a response to the upside here. Now it is possible that within this structure we can potentially count this slightly different, and we could also argue that this is W into this point where this becomes ABC, this becomes an X wave, and then we get another A, B, and a C, and we could see price looking to push us down lower here if we reject below this 69-cent area. If we do see something like this where we just get a 3-wave move to the upside here and then we still continue down, I will be watching out for this area here of this 05225. Now if we do see a move down into that zone, we can see that this would be bringing us back down here into this 0.786 area, and then we would be looking for that possibility of still seeing that continuation up. But this move has technically done enough to be a completed move, so we need to be aware of that. Now as well as that, within this idea of this bigger move here where this is A, B, and C, it is possible that there is still an additional 5th wave to the downside, which could look to bring us back down into some of these areas here. So I'm going to just put this on the chart where we could see price look to actually still have an additional 5th wave down if we fail to break above this 0.618 area, and we fail to invalidate this by taking this 68 cents. If we are looking at this move, what we'd be saying is that this is 1, 2, 3, looking for a 4th and a 5th wave down. Target area would be this 58.44 to this 56.61. Now if we do start to see 5-wave structure developing to the downside here, this is where I would be primarily looking, but we'd have to be very careful that there isn't further extension playing out here where this move could look to break down within our bearish count. But effectively, as long as we continue to hold this 5275, we could look for this potential where this is just a bigger wave 2 here, and then we look to see that continuation to the upside. Now, if we are looking at this as 1-2, what we would have to see is a move up towards $1.83 to confirm this as an impulse. Until we actually see this move up into this zone, we'd have to be very careful that this isn't just a bigger corrective structure, and we could still see continuation down after that point. So what we'd want to start to see here is 5-wave structure developing, potentially forming something like a 1-2-1-2, then a 3-4-5-4-5, something like this, looking to build this structure to the upside, looking to get us up into these zones. Now, if we do see a move up into these levels, this would actually push us high enough here that this would align with that other count where we were discussing that possibility of having this as that diagonal, where we would be much higher already with this wave 3 than this common zone we're looking for this 1618. So this would be looking for this as a direct push to the upside here for this bigger wave 3, and then what we'd be looking for is an additional 4th and a 5th from that point. Now if we are looking at this slightly different, now, if we're looking at this slightly different, the other count we were discussing was the potential that we could actually have this as 1-2-1-2, and then we're actually looking for this as all being within a 3rd wave of the blue count. We have already moved up past this 1618 level, and more locally here, what we would be saying is that we're looking for the potential here that this move is actually looking to be something like this, where this is actually wave 1, 2, 3, looking for this as a 4th and a 5th. Now, if we are looking at this idea, what we'd be saying is we don't really want to cross this 54.66. If we lose this zone, this invalidates this count. What I want to see here is price looking to turn from this point and looking for this fifth wave to the upside. If we are looking at this idea, the potential target would be this $1.11 to this $1.01, and what we'd want to see is a nice clean 5-wave structure to the upside here, forming this fifth wave. Now, some other target areas we need to keep an eye on would be this 0.382 and this 0.618. These are based off of this wave 1 to 3. Now, if we are looking at these, you know, this 0.382 could align with the idea of having something like a truncation here, and then we look for that additional fourth wave from that point. Now, if we do see something like this where we see a 5-wave move here, we need to be very careful, because this within the other count could mean that this is becoming 1 2 1 2, and then we start to see that bigger third wave developing. So it's going to be very important to sort of watch these subwaves and see how they react. If we just see a bigger 5-wave move to the upside here, what I would then be looking out for here is the potential that if we are following this additional count, this could all become that third wave, and then we'd be looking for a fourth and a fifth, and then we'd be looking for another fourth and a fifth from that point. In which case, what this would mean is that from this point over here, we could potentially just have this as a single 5-wave structure up, and then we'd be looking for that 3 waves down to confirm support. Until we actually get that support confirmed, we'd need to be careful that you know, this move doesn't break down after that point as a C wave, but it would be very unlikely at that point, because, you know, once we start to move up into those zones, we could look then to find support on these levels that we had as resistance previously. Now, what we need to be careful of here in the more bearish scenario is that within our higher time frame count, we discussed a couple of ideas where we were saying that, you know, potentially the structure could be looking for a Y wave to the downside, in which case what we are looking for here is the potential of this to be A, this to be B, and then this to be a C wave. And as we discussed, you know, if we are looking at this move as a corrective structure, we could still see this as just a 3-wave move up here. And if we start to develop some impulsive structure down, we could be looking for that potential of a 5-wave decline. Now, the 5-wave decline could potentially push us as deep as this 1-to-1, which would be here at this 13 cents 56. But I would also be on the lookout if we do see a move down in 5 waves, that we could look to find support on this 0.618 here, which would be the minimum requirement. It would also break the A wave low, so it would be an interesting zone for sure to keep an eye on if we do see something like this looking to play out. Now, if we are looking at this slightly different as well, what we could also say is that this could already be a B wave completed, looking for another 5-wave move down, same sort of idea back into these lows. And then finally, one of the other potential ideas we were looking at was the fact that this could also just be a triangle. Now, we did actually look to reject perfectly off of that 0.618. What I'm going to be looking out for here then is that if we do see something like this become 1 2 3 4 and 5 to the downside, we see 3 waves up, and then we see another 5-wave move down. Potentially what we could then see is a move back into this zone here of this 4997 to this 4835 as a potential target. Now, the lower zone here, this 4204, would be a rare target for this E wave, but it would be one that I'm looking out for nonetheless, where this could still become a 3-wave move. And then from this point, what we'd be arguing if we have a triangle like this is that after this move completes, we're going to start to see this move start to trend to the upside again. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this, particularly down in these levels here. We could actually see an interaction with this zone, but we need to be careful, because if we start to drop down here in 5-wave structure, what we could then see is that idea that we see that bigger C wave to the downside looking to push down in a much bigger way. Now, it is also possible within this triangle idea that we could have a more complex shape playing out here, where this is actually just A, this is B, and then we see the C wave looking to still push down here and looking to have this C wave complete lower down. And what we'd have to be careful of if we see something like this is effectively this would just mean that we're going to see this move range for quite a substantial period of time, where we still have to look for the D and the E wave afterwards. So you know, this is just another one of the ideas that we need to be cautious of within the current counts that we have. So in the shorter term here, what I'm looking for is to see whether we actually manage to move away from this zone from where we currently are and start to break some of these key highs, this 73.55, this 85.27, and then finally back above these highs here of this 94.85. If we fail to do so, what we could see is, like I said, the potential that this could actually still be in a corrective move where this is a W, this is an X, and then we could just see this as ABC. Now, if we're looking to come down deeper here, we need to be cautious of this idea that this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here completed, and then we see this move actually just form a bigger A, B, and a C, fail to break above this 69.15 area, and then see this continuation to the downside in this C wave, looking to target out this area here of this 1-to-1 of this is a WX and a Y, which would be here towards this 52.25. If we do see a move like this play out to the downside, this would still align with the idea of coming into that 786, so that would keep this alive. It would, however, invalidate the idea of this being 1, 2, 3, and then a 4 and a 5. So we'd have to be very careful if we start breaking down into these zones. Now, looking at this as a potential breakout more locally, what we need to see for this to confirm is I want to see this develop 5-wave structure. So there is potential here that this could be wave 1, this could be wave 2, this could be wave 3, looking for this as potential 4th wave triangle, and then seeing a 5th wave up towards this zone of the 65.20 to the 65.06. If we do see a move to the upside here in 5 waves, what we need to see for confirmation of continuation is another 3-wave move down, and then looking to hold this 59.60. If we fail to hold this 59.60, then it would be more likely to me that somewhere within here we have this as a flat, and that would then make me worry that this could actually become another 1 and a 2 here, and we could still be looking for that more bearish scenario. We're going to look to break down in a C wave. If, however, we are looking for this bullish case, what I want to see is price form a 5-wave structure here, 3 waves down, hold above this 60 cent 76, and then see price looking to react to the upside again. Now, if we are looking at this as something within a wave that is extending, we need to be aware that sometimes we can start to see these shallower retracements. So we'll also be keeping an eye out on this 382 to this 50%, though commonly when we are looking for wave 2, it is between this 50% and the 786. So we're going to keep an eye on this if we do see shallower retracements after seeing a move up here, and we just see a smaller 3-wave move, which brings us back into this horizontal line here. You know, effectively what we could then see is that this could then look to push to the upside. Now, if we did see something like that into that 0.382, what we'd be looking for 1618 measurement would be here, the 7288 area. Now, that would be a most common target for wave 3, but if we do look to move down lower, this also adjusts this target. So it depends on where we actually complete here. If we came into the 0.618, which is sitting here towards this zone of this 6169, what we'd then be looking for would be the potential that this could be 1, 2, 3, and our target would be the 7136. So it's going to be important to see how price reacts here. At the moment, it is looking very clean, this structure up, but we still only have 3 waves. So because of this fact that we've only got 3 waves here, we could still see this look to break down after this. What do we want to see is 5-wave structure to the upside, 3 waves down, and then starting this move to the upside in the 3rd wave. Coming in here and having a look at the daily CPR lines, what we can see is locally here we have set a higher CPR, which is a initial bullish sign here. We need to see whether price is actually going to confirm this by continuing to hold these levels. If we do see price coming down here, I wouldn't like to see us break much lower than this S1 line, which would be towards us 6203. Now, if we are looking at the potential to hold this level here, which is sitting between the 6381 to this 6305, what I would then be looking for is the potential for price to look to attack some of these higher levels here, 6552, 66.90, 68.92, and the 70 cent 29 as potential targets to the upside for today. Now, if we do see price starting to break to the downside here, like I said, we could look to potentially revisit this 6209 area if we're going to target out this S1. If, however, we're going to see this start to break down in a bigger way, potential targets to the downside for today become this 60 cents, this 58.59, and this level here of this 56.57 as potential downside targets. So we'll be watching those if we do see price moving in those directions. Now, if we have a look at this structure over here, we can see that we are currently in the weekly CPR lines. Now, what we want to see here, if we want to see a continuation to the upside, is price starting to break back above these levels. The central line here could be resistance at this 65.12. We also have this 66.48 as potential resistance to the upside this week because we are below these lines. If we do see price starting to move its way through these, what I will be looking out for is the potential to actually move up into the 69.22 as a possible R1 line. We do also have these targets to the upside this week of this 76.18 and this 80 cents 11. If we do see price looking to reject, however, from these points and we start to move to the downside, potential targets become this 58.19. We have this 54.08 and this 47.12 as potential downside targets for this week. Now, if we come over here and have a look at the monthly pivots, what we can see is that these are indicating volatility. We do have very tightly spread lines. I will be watching these as a potential rejection area. If we do see price move to the upside here in 3 waves, looking to target this 69.80 to the 70.40, we could find resistance on these and then look to continue this move to the downside. Now, if we are looking at this possibility of a continuation down, targets for this month become this 45.34. We have lower targets here of this 21.16. If, however, we look to move back to the upside here and we start to see impulsive structure building where we potentially have something like this as 1 2 1 2 even, and we could see a 3 4 5 and we start to move back above these levels, then I'll start looking to see if we first hold these zones, and if we start to hold these levels, what we could then see is price could actually be gravitated to the upside, targets being this 94.48, and then other targets to the upside this month is this $1.19 and this $1.43 as possible targets for this month. Now, we don't always have to interact with all these levels, but if we do see price move into them, there is potential to see it pivot. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.